Maverick 100.9, Aggieland's country alternative. It's Corliss, and I'm excited to announce, well, to you, a new Aggieland artist, but I met him about a year ago and have been waiting on music. Jacob Charles is here. How are you?
Great. What's up?
Well, I know you've been very busy writing, recording, having a baby, first
Yep,
baby, living that dad life. So it took you a little bit to get music to me, huh?
I did. I've been a little busy. I'm guilty. I mean, I've only played like two shows this year and it's already no, September.
Dude, it's
Because
like the end of September. It is October.
yeah, I'm bad. I don't, got caught up with recording and we moved. Oh, I forgot to tell you that earlier too. We moved like 100 miles from where we were living before and then had the baby and then just trying to be a dad and work on my dad bod and not making it not so dad.
And you are in College Station officially now.
Yes, I am. We've been here since November.
Okay, what brought you guys here?
The baby, or roundabout way, the baby. My sister-in-law lives up here, and then now my sister just moved up here too. So we wanted to be closer to family with the kid and everything. So
100%. I mean, I'm sure you have learned over the past 7 months that it takes a village.
yes, yeah. If if mom and dad want to get any rest or be able to just sit down or me to open a beer, it's throwing it on her godparents. Say, hey, hold her for a minute.
Yeah. Totally. You need people like me in your life. Like, I had some friends this weekend that I originally met here in College Station. Well, they're having a baby in December and they had to move to San Antonio to be close to family. And I was like, you had me here. I love stealing babies. What were you thinking?
Hey, come on with it. We're always hiring babysitters.
Right?
So
Just introduce me as their new Aunt Corliss, you know?
right, that'll do.
Well, I'm so proud of you for being here, for learning the trials and tribulations of fatherhood, and very, very, very impressed with your work on getting a full album released. And we're going to talk more about that because it's just unheard of to hear full albums anymore. But the single we're actually going to be debuting on Maverick today is called Temptation. And before we started recording, I looked at Jacob. I was like, that's sexy. And he goes, so I'm going to let you take it and tell us more about the single.
I don't know if I'd really call it sexy. It's more just like how I put it, you're out, I guess scenario wise, if you're out at like a club or a party or something, and there's just somebody being a tease and that they just want your attention. That's it. Like they don't want anything, they don't want it to mean anything at the end of the day. They just want some cheap attention. So that's basically what the song is. And then I mean, if you pull any other inspirations or meanings from behind it, that's what it's for. And that's what I think most of my songs are, is just, me just throwing something out there, see if it sticks, and then, if it means a lot to somebody or that's what it's there for.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm always looking for attention, and I've been married for most of my life. So,
I
hence,
don't know if the song is for you.
darn it. Darn it. That's all right. Because we're going to listen to it anyways. Y'all, we're going to be back with Jacob Charles, your newest Aggieland artist, to chat about his brand new album, Far From Sober. But first, the debut of his new single, Temptation, on Maverick 100.9. Due to copyright, Brian Broadcasting is not licensed to air this single for you in podcast form, but you can now find it anywhere that you stream and download music. And today's interview continues now. That is your newest Aggieland artist, Jacob Charles, with Temptation on Maverick 100.9. It's Corliss joined by Jacob, and you put out a full album. How many songs?
8.
Nobody does that anymore. What inspired you to make Far From Sober an 8-song album?
I I think it was more like a milestone thing for me. I wanted to do it and I guess prove to myself that I can do it, and to show that I was serious about, the whole music thing. I don't know. I think it was more of a thing for me though. Because I grew up listening to like artists who were like constantly dropping a new album every year and a half. And I guess in my mind, for me, I was like, man, like that's what I want to do whenever I make music. So that it was just a milestone thing for me. 8 songs. I mean, I'd love to make it more. 8 was more of just a balling on a budget decision because recording is not cheap. But man, I couldn't have done it without the guys that I recorded with. Paul Lopez out of Houston, Kobe Routon out of Alvin, and then Aaron Heine out of Houston too. I couldn't have done it without those guys, because I mean they made it work, and they grinded on it. So I, like I said, couldn't have done it without those.
Absolutely. Yeah, we always reiterate the fact here on Maverick that like all the artists that you hear us play, at least 98% of them, they don't get paid to make this music. You have to pay to make music, and it's hard being an independent artist. So we want to support them in any way that we can, and that includes downloading, streaming this brand new album. Once again, it's called Far From Sober, and you kind of described it as like country punk, and I so love that. Tell me more about the sounds that you've kind of been driving towards.
Right. I think a lot of my inspirations, I'm not I guess it would be more what do you call it, the current fad, like the co's of the scene. I pull a lot of,
yeah.
and then I also pull a lot of inspiration from like Austin Mead. He's one of my absolute favorite live performers.
Yeah.
I look like a moron every time I go to a show because I am far from sober, and then I go to the merch, talk to him, and he ends up leaving. So that's yeah, that's, I don't know if I'll ever meet him sober. I really don't.
Oh my!
Because I can't help myself as concerts. I just have too good of a time.
You were partying at his concerts, man. They're so fun.
Oh, I know. It's bad because I'll try to work my way to the front row, and then people behind me can't see, and they're probably upset, but I don't even care.
We all have that one artist that we have to do that for. My husband is a tall man, and he always feels bad about standing in front of people.
Yeah, I just can't help myself. But yeah, I mean, as far as inspiration, definitely those two. Early on, a lot of inspiration from like Cody West and Giovanni and the Hired Guns and stuff like that. Really, people who had a lot of breakout like in 2019 or 2020. Because like most people, I started listening to a lot more music consistently during 2020, whenever everything was shut down and just doing little side stuff just to get by. And so that's kind of when my whole little, I guess, call it a music journey kind of started, I guess, of me wanting to, put my foot down and actually get it going.
Yeah. Well, you have to find that inspiration. Like, I'm sure deep down in you, you knew that there was a musical talent, but when you have something in your head versus what you're hearing actually being released, you're like, okay, I don't know what the heck to do. And then you do hear it and you're like, all that stuff in my head actually works. I get it now. Like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Finding moment. And I think that sound should totally live on. And that's why I liked you in the first place. For those who don't know, Jacob Charles was at our party on the patio last year, and I sat and listened and just loved everything about what he was cranking out. And so I'm probably the most excited to be releasing this music on Maverick now, and stoked that you're in College Station now, so we get to see you a lot more. So the new album, Far From Sober. Before I let you go, tell the quick story about how you even came up with the title for the album, because typically an album is often named after a single, but you don't have a single named Far From Sober?
Right. Yeah. I think just my own historical context. Anytime I've released like a group of songs, like most of the time it doesn't have anything to really even do with, any of the songs on there. My first EP of acoustic songs was called Irrelevant because it just the title and the picture of it had nothing to do with any of the songs. It was just I had an idea in my head, wanted to do it, thought it was kind of cool, maybe a little funny, and then that's what I did. And I just kept it rolling from there. And then honestly, I probably will in the future. That I can't say it has nothing to do with this album though. In Time Machine, one of the songs on there, I actually do say Far From Sober on there. So I'd be lying if I said it had nothing to do with it, but I mean, that's the only time you'll hear me say it on the album itself is on that song. So
I love that. I mean, you're a cheeky person. Even your music can be a bit funny at times. And I just love your attitude towards all of it. Like, you are so much fun. So y'all, I'm giving you the chorus endorsement. Please go find Jacob Charles. Brand new album, Far From Sober, out everywhere you get music. And
yep.
the new single, Temptation, will start playing here on Maverick. And Jacob, I'm so glad you came to join the Aggieland Artist family.
Thanks for having me. Enjoyed it.